Tommy and Mariah ended up getting a divorce. And it wasn't a mutual, they stayed friends divorce. It was a very powerful dissolution of marriage. They weren't speaking and they were very,
Were
very
you,
bitter.
I just want to ask, like, did you read her book?
No.
Okay. But I'm sure you're aware of her version of the story was that he was heavily, she became complete, he had her completely secluded and watched, and her every move was tracked. Like, it was a real oppression that she felt. That is her point of view. That was her experience.
Well, I certainly don't doubt she said all of those things and wrote them in her book, because it's no different in her mind than the story of how we wrote the song All I Want for Christmas Is You. So when they divorced and everyone went their separate ways, I was still under contract with Tommy and with Sony Music. So I couldn't just abandon that ship and run off into the sunset with Mariah. So she was very bitter about that. So she left all of us kind of like, I don't need you guys anymore. I'm on to my next love and my next romance and my next chapter of my musical career. Having said all that, we never got back together again as songwriters.
There's two versions of how, out there of how this song was written. There's Mariah's version and there's your version. I want to hear your version of how the song was written.
At that time, we were both on the same exact page of how we wrote All I Want for Christmas Is You. There was never any ulterior or alternate story, alternate universe, alternate reality until probably 10 years ago, which she started to sort of like hint at the fact that, oh yeah, I wrote that song when I was a little girl. Like, but why weren't you saying that for 12 or 13 or 15 years prior to that? So it just kind of sort of developed in her mind. But she doesn't play anything. She doesn't play keyboard or piano, or she doesn't understand music. She doesn't know chord changes and music theory or anything like that. She doesn't know a diminished chord from a minor 7 chord to a major 7 chord. I mean, all of the things that you need to know, even if you don't know, at least you need to know how to play that. So to claim that she wrote a very complicated chord structured song with her finger on a Casio keyboard when she was a little girl, it's kind of a tall tale. I mean, it's like, it's a difficult song.
So tell me, how was the song written?
I mean, we were holed up in this beautiful home that they were renting, and it was in the summertime, and there was a piano. I think maybe it was even like Alan Menken's house that they were renting for the summer. And we were tasked with the writing of 3 songs. We were going to do a Christmas album, but we weren't going to write the whole Christmas album. We decided to write 3 originals for the Christmas album. And this is after we've written 100 songs already. So there's no question when she and I go into a room to write a song, it's because we've done it so many times. The 3 songs that we decided to do for this Christmas album that we were about to start making were, one was a very nice, beautiful, romantic kind of a song, which we ended up writing called I Miss You Most at Christmas. Second song we decided to do was more of a religious sort of Jesus born on this day, it was called. And then the third song we decided to do was a fun, up-tempo, kind of a cool, not, like I said, non-denominational. It's just a very happy, teetering on love, but more so on the Christmas, fireplace and reindeers click and Santa Claus and mistletoe and all the, stereotypes. When we're writing these 3 songs, it wasn't like, well, I'm only there for 2 because she already wrote the third when she was a little girl on a Casio keyboard with 1 finger, and would she be able to show it to me? Mariah, go ahead, play the chords, play 1 chord, So it wasn't like that. It's an impossibility that she and I did not write a song that we are both credited with 50% each on. It's not like we're Lennon and McCartney. We had some kind of a written agreement that no matter if you write it or I write it, we're always going to be the 2 of us.
That's a great point.
Now, mind you, Mariah was the principal and main writing that she did was melody kind of help in the creation of the melodies. And I would be all of the music and the chords and everything.
And she would do all of the lyrics as well.
She would do all the lyrics, yeah. So the writing of All I Want for Christmas is I started playing sort of a boogie, woogie kind of a rock. Boom, ba 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 boom. And it was in anyone who knows music, the bass, ba, 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 and the chord is, so I'm trying to go,
and are you writing it on an actual keyboard, or you're doing this on a computer?
No, I'm sitting at a piano.
Okay, got it.
Now, when the bass line is playing, Mariah was, and this is my opinion, but it's sort of a musicologist in me opinion, because I've studied music, I have degrees in music, I'm an accomplished orchestrator, arranger. I could teach music. I'm not like a schlump. I don't play by ear.
Nobody thinks you're a schlump. You're a Grammy-winning producer. No, you're no schlump, Walter.
I've studied music my whole life, but it is my opinion that the bass line of a ba 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 gave her the idea to go, I don't want a lot. So she changed the last two notes, but it was kind of that feel that gave her this, I don't want a lot for Christmas. And then I go to the 4 chord like a rock and roll pattern would do. Bum, ba, dum, da, da, da. Da, 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 ba. That's a really complicated chord, but I like to do things a very different way. So I stuck that chord, which forced her to sing the note that has to be in that chord. Otherwise, it's not the right note. So on, and it was like a game of ping pong.
Yeah.
I hit the ball to her, she hits it back to me. I hit it back to her, she hits it back to me. So the exchange of my piano playing, bass lines, and melodic ping pongs at her, she would then, all I want for, what would be a cool chord there? Christmas, another complicated chord that she could never have written with her finger on a Casio when she was a little girl. Is you, and that's our ping pong writing of the song, sort of back and forth.
I love this.
She then, she didn't write all the words, lyrics in that session. It was just the music of it. So after having written these 3 beautiful original song ideas, they're not finished yet, but we have enough of music that I then took it to my home studio in California, and I started to plot the arrangements and the production of these songs, as well as of some of the other songs that are on the album that I produced. When I started to develop the All I Want for Christmas Is You track, then it became all computerized, because it's really hard to play that real fast piano thing throughout the whole song. It's just crazy hard. So she started to finish the lyrics to this song. And I remember she would call me in like all hours of the night or whatever, because she stayed up really late all the time. What do you think? Do you like the, reindeers click, or should it be something else? And she would like throw ideas and have me sort of give my opinions and help her finalize some of these wonderful mistletoes and Santa Claus. And so I felt at the time that it was a very collaborative, very, very partnered, certainly in All I Want for Christmas. So the point being is that painfully and unfortunately, Mariah and I parted ways. And I do agree to the fact that he was very, very hands-on in her career. He guided her career like it was a precious diamond. It was a very, very precious thing. And he made no qualms about it. He wasn't like, doing things, hey, you got to do me a favor because this girl sucks. And, I know she can't sing, but you got to play her record on the radio. And don't worry, I'll buy you a house if you do it. No, she was a just incredibly talented, wonderful artist of his that he really, really made a stellar career out of. And a lot of us, there's more people involved than maybe some people know. There was Babyface involved. There was Corey Rooney involved. There was Colin Clavillis. There was a lot of folks that were really, really happy to be involved, and they worked with her. Some of the R&B guys and some of the more up-tempo songs that she had, and certainly Ben Margulies, who wrote probably most of her first and even second albums. You know, it takes a village. In this case, any artist who has such a wonderful achieved career, such a high level of career success, she didn't do it alone. She didn't do a one finger on a Casio when she was a little girl, if you know what I mean. So there was a lot of us who helped her.